Japan is a country where earthquakes happen more often than anywhere else in the world. Just a while ago, on the very 1st of January 2024, there was a 7.6 magnitude earthquake which took more than 100 lives and damaged homes of thousands. According to local Japanese, it was horrifying and rare, as such strong earthquakes are fairly unusual in general. If you look at the last 13 years, a current 2024 earthquake was the second strongest earthquake that happened in Japan. The strongest one was the one that happened on March 11 of 2011. Tohoku earthquake was so strong that it triggered tsunami, which in turn damaged Fukushima nuclear plant and brought a number of casualties up to 20,000. And before that, there was a Kobe earthquake in 1995, which took over 5,000 lives and left more than 45,000 people homeless. In other words, earthquakes are something that people of the rising sun, Japan, should live with. And they do. Japan is known for having very high levels and standards when it comes to preparations and preventions of natural disasters. But did you know that even Japanese mafia, Yakuza, were involved in rescue missions right after earthquakes hit? And I'm not talking about doing it once. They were involved in all major incidents caused by the nature in the past few decades, and possibly even longer. Now, it sounds good and heroic, and there's no doubt that provided assistance was beneficial and helpful for regular citizens affected by the earthquake and tsunami. However, we should dive deeper if we want to see the whole picture. According to the media, in some instances, Yakuza were able to react and provide assistance even faster than the government. It is said that over 70 trucks full of necessary items and products were dispatched by the Inagawa-kai Yakuza organization in order to help struggling people in the earthquake-affected areas. Yamaguchi-gumi Yakuza organization declared that their offices across the region were open to shelter those that couldn't find a place to sleep, while also sending additional supplies to the people in the affected locations. Sumiyoshi-kai clan also opened their doors for displaced foreigners, which is considered a very unusual for such conservative organization. Yakuza organizations even organized patrols around earthquake-affected areas in order to stop possible looting from people's unguarded properties. Gangsters involved in relief operations tried their best to cover up their affiliation with organized crime by wearing long-sleeved clothes to cover tattoos, gloves to mask missing fingers, and removing clan badges that were one of the methods you could identify a Yakuza member. It is reported that second largest Yakuza organization, Sumiyoshi-kai, collected over $1 million from senior members and distributed goods to multiple prefectures via front companies and associates. Overall, over 200 tons of supplies were sent and several $1 million were raised by the second and third largest Yakuza organization, Sumiyoshi-kai and Inagawa-kai. While the largest clan, Yamaguchi-gumi, under heavy surveillance at the time, provided secret assistance by mobilizing around 800 members and opening temporary bathing facilities in Miyagi Prefecture. There are no Yakuza, ordinary citizens, or foreigners in Japan right now. We are all Japanese. We all need to help each other. 95% of all Yakuza are human garbage. Maybe 5% uphold the rules. Right now, we are all doing our best. It's one of the few times we can be better than we normally are, said one of the Sumiyoshi-kai members. Back in April 2016, there was another earthquake in the island of Kyushu, which killed 48 people and significantly damaged the infrastructure of the region. And yet again, Yakuza group associated with Yamaguchi-gumi organization responded just as fast, if not faster, than the authorities, by giving away food, water, and sanitary products. In 1995, right after Kobe earthquake, Yakuza not only provided all necessities for survival by partially coordinating rescue operations with the authorities, but also set up soup kitchens, where warm food was given away to anyone in need. In short, all good deeds and assistance provided by Yakuza during such situations are, without a doubt, helpful and maybe even life-changing. However, let's look behind the curtain and see if such heroic actions were based purely on desire to help regular people of Japan. Oh, and before we dive into the darker side of the aid relief provided by Yakuza, I want to announce that I will be giving away a rare official Yakuza magazine to one of you, Yakuzapedia viewers. However, more on that at the end of this video. Let's start from the fact that authorities and Yakuza were not the only ones that helped during the major natural disasters. Enormous number of companies donated large amounts of money, as well as sent volunteers to the areas that were damaged or destroyed. 163 countries and regions from all over the world provided assistance in one form or another. Even North Korea donated $100,000, with Kim Jong-il personally donating $500,000 to Association of Korean Residents in Japan. In other words, despite the fact that Yakuza did help during the relief operation, its contribution in the grand scheme was like a drop in the ocean. Everyone was helping and Yakuza were far from the only ones. It just happened to be that they got more attention than the others who contributed just as much or even more. It is assumed that another reason behind Yakuza's help is that they wanted to put themselves in a position where they could secure contracts for their construction companies for the massive rebuilding that happened after earthquake and tsunami. Yakuza had a huge influence in construction industry, hence, oftentimes materials and building-related services were provided by Yakuza-owned companies. In such case, securing rebuilding contracts would have been really profitable. After all, earthquake and tsunami destroyed so much that Japan didn't manage to fully recover up until this day. When you consider that Yakuza take in about 5% of the profits made in Japan's construction industry, you can see why they're sending aid, commented veteran Yakuza writer Suzuki Tomohiko. He also mentioned that such incident provided Yakuza with opportunity to collect huge funds and keep at least 10% of it hidden in headquarters accounts instead of delivering the full amount to earthquake-affected citizens. When it comes to helping people without exposing themselves and avoiding publicity, it wasn't done purely for the sake of the showcasing that they, Yakuza, are doing it from the good heart. In reality, they were concerned that being public about the support they were providing might have brought troubles in the form of police crackdowns. After all, it was around that time that police and organized crime-related laws became significantly stricter. Yakuza also participated in Fukushima nuclear plant cleanup after it was damaged by earthquake and tsunami in 2011. Some articles mentioned that Yakuza, yet again, did a heroic job and risked their lives in order to make sure that power plant is clean and safe. However, there's also another side to the story. For example, the fact that they, Japanese organized crime groups, made millions by forcing disabled, homeless, and indebted people to work in the nuclear power plants, who would get fired after being exposed to the high levels of radiation. Tokyo Electric Power Company, or TEPCO, got in touch with Yakuza organizations on purpose, since they couldn't find enough people willing to risk their health and life for the nuclear power plant cleanup operation. And Yakuza were the people who had the power to supply TEPCO with the required amount of workforce. The government said I will get paid $100 per day, but I initially got 20, said Sato, who was lured to Fukushima by the promise of extra cash. The contractors and subcontractors took the remaining $80, he added. As you might guess, contractors and subcontractors were Yakuza. As you can see, a stereotypical Yakuza helped people just because it was their duty narrative is not completely right, or at the very least, does not present the full picture of the situation. Yes, good deeds were done, and some assistance might have actually come from the pure desire to help. However, Yakuza organizations are businesses, not charities, so there were definitely some financially beneficial decisions that were made. Speaking of supporting the victims of earthquake in Japan, let's do it for real. I have this official Yakuza magazine which covers different elements of Yakuza world. This magazine was discontinued around 6 or 7 years ago, so there are not many copies left. I will give it away as a gift for someone who like and subscribe to Yakuzapedia channel, follow Yakuzapedia Facebook or Instagram page, support AAR Japan by donating at least $3, which will provide people in earthquake affected areas with warm food, clothes, and other necessary assistance. Send me a screenshot proof of your donation as well as your YouTube account nickname to yakuzapedia@gmail.com. I will get in touch with the winner in order to arrange the delivery of the gift. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.